The third lesson in grammar that we're going to have has still something to do with modifiers. We already started with nouns for the first week. We had adjectives last week. And now we're going to embrace the discussion on that other kind of modifier in grammar, which would be our adverbs. So allow me to put this device first in spotlight. Okay. So we have adverbs. What do adverbs do? As said, they modify. Question is, what words do they modify? Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Thus, we have this discussion expanding sentences through verb modification. The context of a verb modification is what leads to that part of speech. Adverbs. Again, they are adverbs are modifiers. Just like adjectives and nouns, adverbs can come in varying structures. Remember nouns? Nouns can be single word nouns. They can also be phrases. They can also come in clauses. Adjectives went through the same phase. They can be a word, a single word. An adjective can also be a phrase in structure. It can also appear like a clause. Such is also the case for adjectives, which means that we can have single word adverbs. So we can have single word adverbs. We can have phrase adverbs. And lastly, we can have clause adverbs. To begin, we will have single word adverbs. For a while, let me erase the writings on this table. And still, as of this time, there are just 18 students who are part of the call. I'm not really sure where your classmates are.
Be
How
like
do
that
adverbs generally look like? What do you mean, Rain? It's always like this.
since last week, sir.
Last week you begin with like 16 or 15,
Yeah,
and then students, of course, you hopefully that number increases as the class
slowly,
goes on.
slowly.
But I'm not sure if you've reached the maximum number of students in your class. That's probably quite rare, no, that everybody's there.
Yeah.
Let's start again with single word adverbs. How are single word adverbs generally structured? Like for instance, we have the word, I know this is an elementary word, but for the sheer purpose of discussion, you have that word beautifully. This word is made up of two semantic units. The first one is beautiful, and the part of speech where this belongs is adjective. Adding the ly creates another word that belongs to another part of speech. The one with an ly, including the ly now, creates an adverb. So that's how we generally create adverbs. Allow me to repeat. Generally create an adverb. We get an adjective and we add an ly. So if you have words like peaceful, adding an ly would lead to peacefully. Peaceful is the adjective, peacefully is the adverb. But of course, again, that's just the general structure of creating, or general way of creating an adverb, which means that adverbs do not belong to one particular structure only. The structure of adverbs, of course, depends on the type of adverb that you have. Like, what are the common types of adverbs? Adverbs of manner. The ones that generally end in ly are adverbs of manner. You also have adverbs of frequency. Those adverbs that tell you of the number of times a particular action happens. Adverbs of time. Those that tell you of when the action has taken place. Adverbs of negation. Adverbs that negate or give out a negative expression placed in a statement or a sentence. Words like never, not, they are adverbs of negation. By the way, whenever you are asked, what if the sentence is, they did they didn't see me? What if this is your sentence and that you'd be asked to underline or identify? No, because in your exams you will not do under, I think in your FTs. What if you're asked to identify the adverb in this statement? What will your answer be, Alex?
I don't know, sir.
Adverb of negation, Alex. Wait, what happened to your adverbs? John Abiliana, what is the adverb in this statement?
Didn't.
Again?
Didn't.
Didn't? Angel, what is the adverb in this statement? Angel?
I can't see it.
This is the statement. They didn't see me. What is the adverb?
I don't know.
Leisha, what is the adverb here, Leisha?
Not?
Not, correct. The adverb is not. As it was contracted to did. But this is the adverb. If one of you wants to give didn't as the answer, that will be incorrect. Why? Did cannot be an adverb because did is and will forever remain to be a verb. However, one word was contracted to it, and that word is not. So you extract not from didn't, and then you identify it as the adverb in that statement. And it is an adverb of negation. The same goes when you find not in isn't. It's is not. Do not use isn't as the adverb because in the same way, is not also a, sorry, is not an adverb. It's a verb, just like did. So you have adverbs of negation. You also have adverbs of emphasis or adverbs of intensity, adverbs of affirmation, adverbs that say really, indeed. These are adverbs, single word adverbs. Where do we place adverbs? Generally, just like all modifiers, adverbs are placed close to the verb, adjective or adverb that they want to modify. We place them close to the word that they try to modify. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to give a sentence and I'd like you to identify all single word adverbs. Familiar? Identify all single word adverbs. And I think you can now imagine the ST, the way it's going to be checked. Okay, so as to make it fair with everybody, I'll put my phone down so that you won't see the sentence ahead of time. Okay, I'm still writing the sentence now. Wait. Wait.
You may not see it from the surface now, but you have to make some image of these structures. That will be part of your extra learning. So the part of your is the asteroid. This is where we get to have the digital letter in our sources that I know that's getting sure they get from that area. And also, it's like the ceiling, if the weather ceiling in our atmosphere is troposphere, you also have the
Here's your sentence.
solar system. It's like
Of course, you should expect that the sentences will not be like, I came early.
this is called the Kuiper belt. The Kuiper belt is made with
We fought last night. Do not expect for those sentences.
but more than farther than the Kuiper belt is the Oort cloud. You'll get to see the names Kuiper belt and Oort cloud once we discuss currents. Within the eight planets class,
What
which planet is
single word adverbs can we find in this sentence? I'd like to ask John Buntag.
On.
Single word adverb.
take note that Jupiter is with gas.
On is a preposition.
Very good. There, I got it right.
Oh, sir.
Earth is
Again.
planet, but the least
I don't
dense
know.
planet
Oh my God, people, your adverbs, what's happening? Juliana,
planets is the least dense planet, which means that with that planet
Juliana,
in the background,
what single word adverbs did I use in this sentence?
because it is lesser dense than water. That's it.
Hello, Juliana.
Our astrologist is
Grave is a noun.
the densest is Earth. Within the
It's an object of the preposition on. Uy, single word adverbs, people.
red planet is Earth.
Rain, what single word adverbs can you find in this sentence?
Never?
It's the word never. Do we have any other single word adverb, Rain?
Of the eight planets, who is the highest planet? Actually,
No.
There's none.
No.
There's only one. So if it were an ST, so those who identified another word aside from this, then on a right minus wrong basis, you'll automatically get a 0 in this item. No, because there's just one man. And if you chose another one, so it's 1 minus 1 correct answer minus 1 error is 0. Look, this length bears only one adverb. Let's not be influenced by the length of our sentences. Let's not let's not develop the thought that if a sentence is long, then it's expected to contain more. The instruction that I gave though earlier is, what are the single word adverbs that can be found in the sentence? Does this sentence have other kinds of adverbs? Yes, it does. But plainly, I'm just asking for single word adverbs. Let's try another sentence. Let's try another example. As of this,
question, sir.
yes, go.
Only days. It's not pala.
Again. What's the question?
Only.
Yeah, okay.
Only is not.
Let me write the relationship of words. Only is a modifier. I don't question that. Only, I think this is the arrangement earlier. Only memory. People, be careful with this. To what part of speech does the word memory belong? It's a noun. So only is an adjective. Oh, but was it you, Leisha, who asked me that? Did you choose? Oh, did you include only, Leisha? Right, mine was wrong. But it's good that Leisha pointed that out. Look at where only has been placed, people. Only was placed before a noun, which makes only an adjective. As only here is modifying memory. So I'll give you another example. And the same thing is what you are going to do. Identify all single word adjectives.
Jupiter is filled with typhoons. Speaking of typhoons, I came to include the name of the typhoon of that.
For a while, huh?
I didn't mention. I really, when I sent the photo, I didn't realize I missed something.
Wait, because it's taking time to write sentences here.
The day they will. I gotta tell you. Anyway, what's the kilometer speed of the typhoon? So I had it 205 in my.
Okay, here's your sentence.
What is that? It's
Here are my papers which have been wrongfully checked by so many students. Again, here are my papers which have been wrongfully checked by so many students. Same question. What are the single word adverbs? Single word adverbs in this sentence. I'd like one of you to give all of them. Thea, can you identify all of them for us?
Wrongfully.
Wrongfully. What else? What else, Thea?
That's
Wait,
all.
that's all?
Yeah.
Ew. Is there only one in this sentence? Kiana? There's a B. Kiana, is there only one? Wait, who said many? Wait. Someone sent a message and typed in many. Kiana, can you wait? Where's Kiana? Kiana is not responding.
I did, sir.
Oh, again, sorry.
I'm here, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. I can. What are the other single word adverbs, Kiana?
I think that's all. I'm not sure.
So according to Kiana, there's only one. Just like how Thea has identified it earlier. But actually, there are two more adverbs in this sentence. What are these two? I'd like to call Fiona.
By.
By is a preposition.
So.
You have so, correct. One more. I'd like to call Lorraine. What's the remaining adverb, single word adverb in the sentence, Lorraine?
Here.
There are
Hello?
three single word adverbs in this sentence. You have here, wrongfully, and so. Someone earlier, here and there are adverbs. Take note. Here, there, both are adverbs. Wrongfully is obviously ending with ly. Adjective form is wrongful. So wrongfully is an adverb. Or wrong in itself is already an adverb and an adjective. Someone earlier made mention of many. But look at many in this statement. Many is modifying students. Students, this word is a noun. As many is modifying students, many becomes an adjective. As so modifies many, so becomes an adverb. Remember adverbs? They modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. Wait, there's a B. Questions regarding single word adverbs? Oh, wait, Lejan placed a message in the chat box. I thought here is the subject. When you use here to begin a sentence, wait, I'll use a blue marker. I'm using now all colors in this sentence. When you use here and there to begin a sentence, they become expletives. This is the term that we use for here and there once they are both used as words that begin a sentence. However, that does not make them the subject of the sentence. Because in this sentence, the subject is papers. This is what you call this line, I'm referring to this line, a statement or a clause in the inverted order. Inverted because in the regular or natural order of words in a sentence or in a clause, the subject comes first, followed by the verb. But in here, we have the verb first that comes before your subject. That is why the structure is inverted. So again, here cannot function as the subject. The subject is rather this word, papers. So I like this. All colors of the markers are there. Questions? Don't mention it, Leisha. Questions? By the way, that concern of Leisha is not only by herself. Leisha is not alone on that question because I've met students from before who would think that if they see there to start the sentence, they would identify there as the subject. The word spelled as T-H-E-R-E. They would identify that right away as the subject. Because there's this wrong notion that the first word in a sentence automatically comes out as the subject. While it may be true to so many sentences, That is not always the case. What you'll find as the first word in a sentence is not always the subject of that sentence. Questions regarding single word adverbs. If there's none, we go to phrase adverbs. Adverbs that are structured in phrase form. Subjects are either noun or pronoun, correct? Once it functions as a noun or pronoun, once the noun or pronoun functions as a subject, it can, sorry, let me rephrase that. Once a word functions as a noun or pronoun, it can be a subject. Why did I rephrase my answer? Adjectives, remember? Adjectives can function as nouns. Therefore, they can be subjects in a sentence. That's why earlier when I said, if it's a noun or pronoun, it can be a subject, I have to rephrase that. We are after of how they should function. Because originally, an adjective should not be a subject. But if it can function as a noun, then it is going to be a subject. I hope, Kiana, that answers your question. Let's go now to phrase adverbs. I find them better to be identified as adverbial phrases. Adverbial phrases can come in three types. They can be prepositional phrases. They can be infinitive phrases. They can also be participial phrases. So these are the three available adverbial phrases: prepositional, infinitive, and participial. Remember, they are also the categories for adjectival phrases. If you look at your module 2, a prepositional phrase can function as an adjective. An infinitive phrase can also function as an adjective. A participial phrase can also function as an adjective. For you to know whether they function as adjectives or adverbs, look at their head words. What are they trying to modify? If the prepositional phrase, infinitive phrase, or participial phrase is trying to modify a noun, then we leave them for adjectival phrases. But if they modify verbs, adverbs, or other adjectives, then we welcome them for adverbial phrases. Let us start with a prepositional adverbial phrase. If it's a prepositional adverbial phrase, then it's a phrase that modifies actions or descriptions. For example, this simple statement, I found them in the closet. What is the prepositional phrase in this sentence, Alex?
In the closet.
The closet, correct. What makes up again a prepositional phrase? You should have a preposition and the object of that preposition. Thus, a prepositional phrase. For you to know whether it's an adverb or not, you ask yourself first, where did I find them? Take note, where did I find them? The answer is in the closet. As it answered the question where, this puts the prepositional phrase at that category. This is different from
presentation, which you can see in your modules, is comets are pieces of rocky and metallic materials and held together by a frozen gas. The reason why there's a tail in a comet is because of the frozen gas
Sentence is this one.
engulfed
The clothes in my closet are brand new. In here, we have the same prepositional phrase, which is
nearer to the sun, but
beginning with the word in and ending with the word closet. But what is this trying to modify? What is being modified by in my closet here?
um,
I'd like to ask Eliza.
from the comet itself.
Sir,
What is being modified by in my closet in the second statement?
The
clothes.
Clothes, correct.
comma, that's all as the
And since clothes are nouns,
said,
this prepositional phrase functions as
comet is
an adjective.
as
See the difference?
the most famous comet
The phrase in the closet in the first statement answered the question where. Where did I find them? In the closet. So this is a modifier to found. And since found is a verb, that puts our prepositional phrase in the category of adverbs. Going to the second sentence, the clothes in my closet are brand new. Prepositional phrase is in my closet, modifying clothes. What kind of clothes are considered brand new? They are the ones considered, they are the ones in my closet. I'm referring to the clothes in my closet. In my closet modifies this noun, clothes. Noun. So the modifier to a noun is an adjective. Questions?
comet. Let's dig deeper into the structure of the comet.
Expect for your SPs to have items that are like this. Meaning, you'll find an item which has a prepositional phrase, and you might be asked whether that prepositional phrase functioned as an adverb or it did not. Let's have another example.
It generates a tail, but as it goes farther away from the sun, the tail will disappear. Again, that is because of the evaporation of the frozen gas from the tails of the missile comet. Here we have the spelling of Kuiper belt and Oort cloud. I did mention a while ago that comets are subcategorized.
Okay, that's your sentence. They climbed the tree without my help.
Short-wave comets.
This may not answer the question where, but this could answer the question how. How did they climb the tree? They climbed the tree without my help. So we have a prepositional phrase without my help. Without is the preposition. The object is help. And it's modifying the action climbing
Containing the long
to determine the manner by which the tree has been climbed by the persons represented by they. Since this modifies climbed, this prepositional phrase functions as an
which surrounds
adverb.
the solar system. The Oort cloud is beyond the Kuiper belt.
Let's have this example.
Let's consider the layers of the atmosphere on Earth. Let's consider the thermosphere as Kuiper belt. The exosphere is the Oort cloud. Okay? And the short-period comets came from the Kuiper belt, whereas the long-period comets came from the Oort cloud. Here, the structure of the Kuiper belt is the Oort cloud.
The man with a long neck is scary. Prepositional phrase is with a long neck. With is the preposition. Neck is the object of that preposition. What is this trying to modify? What kind of man was identified to be scary? What kind? So the answer is the man with a long neck. This modifies the word man And the word man is a noun. And since this is a noun, the modifier becomes an adjective. For labeling purposes, claimed is a verb. Questions? Questions? Please ask, please ask. If there's none, I'm going to erase this. And then we will have to proceed to the next kind of adverbial phrase. I'm referring to the infinitive phrase. Infinitive phrase. How do we construct an infinitive phrase again? We construct this by having the infinitive plus the object of that infinitive. How do we construct an infinitive? We have to plus the base verb. So to complete, the infinitive phrase is created by having to plus the base verb plus the object of that infinitive. For example, and take note, our goal this time is to create a sentence that uses the infinitive phrase as an adverb. Adverb. Sentence.
Mostly notice these pictures as they appear in the dark sky as a shower. They are called mission shower. Do not call them mission shower nor mission shower.
So here's your sentence. They conducted a meeting to solve the issue. Again, they conducted a meeting to solve the issue. The question here is, why did they conduct a meeting? Why? Why? The question is why. The answer is to solve the issue. As why has just been answered by this infinitive phrase, this puts the infinitive phrase to be an adverb, to modify the verb conducted. This is a verb. And again, modifiers to verbs are called adverbs. And look, infinitive phrase. Where's the infinitive? To solve. What's the object? Issue. To solve what? The issue. And the entirety of this, to solve the issue, the complete set, to solve the issue, modifies conducted. Why did they conduct a meeting? As a reason has been provided, there is an adverb. For as long as it is not on the what kind or what type question, then you must probably have an adverb. Questions so far? Questions? I implore you, please ask. I beg you.
Sir,
Go.
can you give example? Kanang like to show the difference between an infinitive used as an
Adjective and an
adjective.
adverb.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Just like what we did earlier to prepositional phrases. Okay. I'm looking for Afi. Let's use this marker. So I'll create first a sentence with an infinitive phrase as an adverb to be followed by a sentence with an infinitive phrase as an adjective.
13.7 billion years ago.
Wait, here's a sentence.
After the universe was created is 4.6 billion years ago. And this reference is 4.54 billion years ago, or similar as 4.5, yeah. If this will come out in the multiple choice type of test, if 4.6 is not present,
So here's the sentence. My friend came early to finish this task. Why did my friend come early? The answer is to finish this task. It is an adverb. It's not just even to modify came. This now modifies early. There's now a reason why the person has come early. It's not just merely my friend came to finish this task. It's now on my friend came early to finish the task. The emphasis will now be to modify early. To what part of speech does the word early belong? Early is an adverb, correct. And take note by definition, adverbs can modify adverbs. Let's go with the request of Leisha, having an infinitive phrase modifying a noun.
Some of the terms are not found in the description, so please have some time to read it. But the main issue of the main matters in the word is that the minor members of the word are being discussed like comments.
Here's the sentence. The time to execute the plan was not enough. Again, the time to execute the plan was not enough. What is our infinitive phrase here? To execute the plan. What kind of plan was deemed not enough?
In Greek mythology,
So you have, it was that time, sorry, not what type of plan. What type of time was considered not enough? What type or what kind of time was labeled to be not enough? It was the time needed to execute the plan. So you have to execute the plan, modifying the word time. And since time is a noun, the modifier becomes an
Mars
adjective.
Greek is
So adjective modifying a noun, adverb modifying another adverb.
what is the Greek comparison? Who is the Greek comparison of Mars in
Questions? I hope, Leisha, this answers your question.
comparison of Mars? Who is the Greek comparison of Mars?
I'll now erase this. By the way, in this sentence, do we have an adverb?
What is the Greek comparison of Venus? Aphrodite, Athena.
Aphrodite.
Aphrodite. It's not Athena, then it's Aphrodite.
Do we have an adverb in the sentence?
Saturn.
The time to execute the plan was not enough. It's the word not, correct. So there's still an adverb. Take note, there was an adverb in that sentence. There was an adverb in that sentence. Take note. Because if the question is plainly identify all adverbs, then you have to look for single word adverbs, adverbial phrases, adverbial clauses for as long as it functions as an adverb. And if you cannot identify that, if you miss out on one, right minus wrong. Enough. To what part of speech does the word enough belong?
How Zeus was then ruling the
Leisha, to what part of speech does the word enough belong?
who is the father of
It's a modifier.
Adjective?
It's an adjective, correct. So Alex, that answers your question. Kronos was born out of darkness. Sorry. Sir Jet is talking about mythology with his class. Chaos, chaos. Parent of father of Kronos, chaos, chaos, chaos. This class is not listening. Sir Jet is not listening anymore. Let's go to wait for a while. We have a question for a mythology question from Sir Jet.
Zeus' father is Kronos.
Yes, sir.
And then,
Kronos with a K because Chronos is the god of time.
yeah. And then Kronos' father is
Chaos.
Chaos. Ayun. It's not Gaia is,
Gaia is another titan, just like Kronos.
but it's not the mother of Kronos.
No,
Diba Gaia is the mother of Zeus?
no. The mother of Zeus is Rhea.
Ah, Rhea. I think so. So,
So it was a mythology concern.
A,
Now we go to that last adverbial phrase. Wait, why will I write adverbial phrase? We are referring to the participial phrase. Let's be reminded once again, participles are not tenses of verbs. They are just verb forms. Participles are merely verb forms. When we talk about participial phrases functioning as adverbs, this is closely tied to the present participial phrase. Take note, it's closely tied to the present participial phrase. The past participial phrase is mostly not used as an adverb. The past participial phrase rather functions more as an adjective. So we only have the present participial phrase here. Let's have a sample. By the way, how do we form the present participle? John Abiliana? How do we create a present participle?
Verb plus ing.
Correct. Let's be reminded of that structure. The base verb plus the ing form. That's why the present participle is misconstrued as the gerund. The gerund just functions as a noun. The present participle functions as a modifier. That's a clear difference between the two. So let's have this example. And I think this is also to, yes, Ala, you can. This is also to address that same concern that Leisha was talking about earlier. Let's have a present participle that functions as an adjective and one that functions as an adverb. Let's start with it functioning as an adverb.
you'll have to understand why these people like English, who we can love with, the issue of who's God, something like these Roman gaps are things of the English of the of course, I noticed the students also know the answers to the first activity that I did. For example, which planet is named after the Roman god of farming? So before you know who is the Roman god of farming,
I'll write the second sentence.
and it's all in the class. And particularly, let's say that the English. Okay. It's just that I wish for you to have it answered because our lesson is quite short. Notice the pictures, asteroids, and comets are just not three in the many members of the solar system. So to expand the knowledge about our lesson, I included the FYIs of the whole solar system. So as the main topic in your
I created a sentence that contains the same set of words in the present participial phrase. So you have, actually there are just these two contain the same set of words. It's just that I placed the present participial phrase somewhere else to do an effect in the change of function. Look, first sentence. The student finished the test looking for answers online. The first sentence will answer the question, how did the student finish the test? The answer is this. That's the answer. The student finished the test by looking for answers online. This is a present participial phrase which functions as an adverb since this modifies the word finish, which is a verb. Let's go to the second sentence. The student looking for answers online finished the test. And again, we have the same present participial phrase. But what is this present participial phrase trying to modify? It's now modifying student. Describe that student who finished the test. What kind of student finished the test? It's that kind who was looking for answers online. Since student is a noun, that places this present participial phrase to be an adjective. I'd like you to see what happens to the function of the present participial phrase once it's relocated somewhere else. Leisha, I think this answers that concern. There's an adverb here. There's an adjective in the second sentence. More or less, whenever you have a present participial phrase as an adverb, look into how, in what way. Look at these guide questions. In what way has it been done? Like for instance, I'll just maximize this tiny space, huh?
The internet for some additional information regarding our activity that but in case we're going to have the sounding test work on your own. I learned that in my previous class about the idea that some students, I mean, I think many of you are guilty of this one. Some students are not doing good in the grade, but there's sources
Here. Crying loudly, she called for her mom's attention. How did she call for her mom's attention? Take note. How did she call her mom's attention? By crying. Oh my gosh. There. By crying loudly. This now becomes an adverb. Questions? Questions, questions, questions. I will now erase this. Okay. And now we are down to the last possible structure of an adverb. And that's an adverbial clause. So we ask ourselves again, what makes a clause a clause? What are the requirements for a group of words to be, for a clause to be called a clause? Give me one requirement. Rain.
Yeah. Again, sir?
What are the requirements for a clause to be called a clause? There are three important requirements that need to be met. Can you give me one? What's the first one, Rain? What about wait, who will I call? Because others were not responsive early, so I would not want to. I'll try calling Ninia. What are the requirements for a clause to be called a clause? There are three important requirements. Ninia isn't responding. Leisha, requirements for of a clause?
All, sir.
If you can mention all three, go.
Subject, verb, and a relative pronoun.
Again.
Subject, verb, and the relative pronoun. I don't know.
That's so particular to a dependent clause. So allow me to reiterate, a clause can only be called a clause if first, look at the first requirement, it has to be a group of words.
Most of the students in the junior high have interchanged to send to ABM. I'm reading right now our group chat. Sir, I don't have care. Instead, I have politics and governance.
So again, you have a clause which can only be called which can only be considered a clause if it is a group of words. Second, if there's a subject and a predicate or a verb. And third, if there's a thought, which could either be complete or incomplete. If it's a complete thought that's found in that clause, we call the clause an independent clause. If the thought is incomplete, then we consider the clause a dependent clause. Just like an adjective clause, an adverb clause is also a dependent clause, meaning the adverbial clause cannot stand on its own. This adverbial clause needs to attach itself to an independent clause for it to survive in a sentence. That's what we are going to have on Thursday, as it is already time. So for now, that will be all grade 10. Do we have some questions before we proceed to adverb clauses by Thursday? Questions? Feel free to read the rest of the examples found in your module. I think, again, there are quite a number of examples. There are plenty of examples, plus the examples that I have just provided in class right now. So if there are no questions as of this time, that will be all. Goodbye and thank you, grade 10.
Goodbye
Goodbye.
and thank you,
Goodbye
sir.
and thank you,
Bye
sir.
and thank you, Sir Sim.
Bye.
Goodbye, thank you.